This simple loft has been defined such that the base and top profiles are dimensioned, as well as the overall height. However, the behavior of the side faces is not currently controlled. The loft feature simply connected the profiles as efficiently as possible. If you would like to change the appearance of the side faces, one option you have is to apply constraints to either the beginning of the loft, the end of the loft, or both. Let's take a look at how this is done. I'll begin by editing the loft feature and expanding the section labeled Start and Constraints. As you can see, we don't have any constraints currently defined. Let's begin by changing the constraint on the beginning of the loft. I'll select Normal to Profile. A few things change when this is selected. In the graphics window, you can see the beginning of the loft starts at a direction normal to the profile. You can control how much influence the normal to profile setting will have by adjusting this parameter here. The lower the number, the lesser the effect of the setting. The higher the number, the more noticeable the effect will be. Eventually, if you increase the number high enough, the normal effect will lead to some bizarre results. You can also change the direction of the normal to constraint by clicking the reverse direction arrow in the Property Manager. In this case, the preview disappears when I reverse the direction, which tells me these settings will cause the loft to fail. I'll return the parameter to the correct direction and change the value to 1. Notice the Apply to All checkbox here. If I clear this setting, each corner of the profile will have its own drag handle, which tells me I can control the normal to constraint for each point individually. To make changes to each corner, click the drag handle so it becomes highlighted. Any changes you make in the Property Manager apply only to the handle selected. You can also click and drag each handle and immediately see a preview of the resulting geometry. These same options can also be applied to the end of the loft. This time, instead of selecting the Normal to Profile option, I'll select Direction Vector. This allows me to select a direction other than perpendicular to the profile. You can select model edges, sketch entities, axes, just about any item to define a direction vector. I'll select a line on the profile sketch itself, and you can see how the geometry now goes along the direction of the line I selected. Like before, I can use the Property Manager or drag handle to change the influence of this setting. Before wrapping up this session, let's take a look at the draft option we have when using these constraints. I'll disable the End constraint and return the Start constraint to a value of 1 applied to all points. To make the draft setting easier to see, I'll change to a front view as well. As you're probably aware, when you create a boss extrude, you can enable draft so that the resulting extrusion will have angled faces. This can be helpful when modeling a part that will be forged or injection molded. I can do something similar here by increasing the value of this draft angle in the Property Manager. Watch the preview as I steadily increase the value of the angle. As the angle increases, you can see the edges of the lofted feature make a larger angle with respect to the vertical direction. If you wish to reverse the direction of the draft, simply click the Reverse Direction button. If you're designing plastic parts, this setting can help ensure that your parts will be able to be pulled out of their mold.